Do we pay homage to the Buddha? Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Today we will continue talking about Venerable Pukusati. So he was ordained by himself. So the Buddha also came to know he had potentiality to attain up to anagami path in fruition knowledge. Not only that, he also gave up his royal family, royal kingdom. So to have Venerable Pukusati, the Buddha himself also traveled. At the time, Venerable Pukusati was spending his time in the Bodhat workshop at night. He's going to stay overnight there. Then the Buddha visited. Also, unknowing Pukusati was in the Bodhat's workshop, he also asked permission to spend one night in the Buddha's house or Buddha's workshop. The Pukusati didn't know is a Buddha or not. That's why he allowed the Buddha to spend one night in the same room with him. This is the first part of their life, their meeting, we can say, right? After that, the Buddha also asked him, where do you ordain? Who's your teacher? Buddha also asked many questions. But he replied, out of respect to the Buddha, he was ordained by himself. Actually, Buddha had already known, but he just asked to have more open conversation. After that, the Buddha started giving instruction to Pukusati. Actually, there are many different types of instruction. But here in this case, we have to understand in Pali, Dhatu Vivanga. The Buddha talk about element to Venerable Pukusati. Why is this about element? Why not other things? Actually, there are many other topics in this sutta. The Buddha introduced what's element. After that, the Buddha also talk about necessary things for enlightenment. So mostly we have already known 4 elements. But here in this sutta, the Buddha talk about 6 elements. Okay, here we have to start from earth element. So you may have already known what's really called earth elements, since you have already listened many Dhamma talk about Pa-Auk tradition or Pa-Auk Dhamma talk. So we also have 32 body parts. Among the 32 body parts, the first 20 are earth elements predominant. Then we also have water element. So among the 32 body parts, the last 12 are water elements predominant body parts. Then the Buddha also talk about fire element, but the heat of fever, also heat of aging, because of digestive heat, right? Actually, there's also body heat in our body every time. All the things are called fire element. Then we also have wind element. We have upgoing wind, downgoing wind. Then there will be wind outside the intestine, also inside the stomach, inside the abdomen. There's also wind inside the intestine. There's also wind going through all over the body. We also have anapanasati, breathing meditation. This is also called wind element. So these are very common in Buddha teaching. Whenever we talk about element, we just know the four elements: earth element, water element, fire element, and wind element. So mostly the Buddha also give brief instruction of four elements. Then when we talk about 42 body parts, it will be detailed method. But here in this sutta, the Buddha is explaining four elements detailed method to Venerable Bhagusati. Okay, now we have another thing, another element, space element. So under the name of space element, we can also know many other types. For example, there are many holes in our body. Every single body hair, there's also hole. It's also space element. But not only that, if there's particles, this body is made of small particles. If there's a particles, among the particles, then there will be space. This is also called space element. So there can be space element of all the karma brochu materialities, mind brochu materialities, temperature brochu materialities, nutriment brochu materialities. There will be space everywhere in the body. This is also called space element. Then we have the last one, consciousness element. Vijnana dhatu in Pali. As we have already learned other elements as a materiality. For example, earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, space element, these are materiality. Consciousness element, that is mentality. When we talk about vijnana, that means we know something. Know something means, for example, we may know pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, good object, bad object. We can also know many other things like contact, body contact, eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, any kind of contact we can also know. Not only that, we can also know all types of materialities. As we have already mentioned, earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, space element. We can also know any of these. This is called consciousness element. If we summarize, the first five are materialities. The last one, consciousness element, will be mentalities. So when we are going to practice four elements, we must understand everything as an element in our body. As long as we cannot find any personality, that means we don't see as a person, we just see as an element. That means we are qualified enough to know element. Okay, here one more thing. He also mentioned we must go beyond the concept, panyati. Okay, we have already mentioned other elements. There are 20 body parts. Okay, I should say easier one, visible one, right? Head hair, body hair, teeth, nails, and skin. So when we are practicing the little body parts, we must feel repulsive. This is the one thing. This is repulsive in meditation. When we are going to practice earth element, or we are going to practice materialities, we must go beyond head hair. We must know every type of materialities in the head hair. Similarly, body hair, teeth, nails, skin, or all other body parts, it should be the same. So if we can analyze everything in detail, if we can discern every type of materialities in every single body part, we can go beyond the concept. That is the foundations of vipassana. Then after explaining the sixth element, the Lord also give instruction to Venerable Bhagusati about phassa. Phassa mostly we translate as a contact. I think you have already know what are really called contact. Okay, for example here, Jaku Sampasa, eye contact. But whenever we talk about eye contact, we must also know eye consciousness at the same time. For example, there must be eye base. That means eye translucency. For your understanding, if we say easier way, we must have good eyesight. Then we have a second one, visible object. If there's a good eyesight, there's also visible object. Then there must be eye consciousness. As soon as the arising of these three is called Jaku Sampasa, eye contact. Then we can see something with our eyes. We also know that at the time we can see eye contact arises. Similarly, we also have Sota Sampasa, ear contact. So we must have good ear. Ear sensitivity must be good enough. There must be the sound, audible object. Then there must be ear consciousness. Accident arising of these three is called ear contact. Then we can also understand the saying, Kana Sampasa, no translucency, or the sensitivity of nose must be good enough. Then there must be smell. Then there must be nose consciousness. There will be contact. Again, Jima Sampasa, tongue contact. There must be sensitivity of tongue. Then there must be these taste objects, the flavor. Then there must be tongue consciousness. As in the arising of these three is called Jima Sampasa, tongue contact. Then we have Kaya Sampasa, body contact. Our body sensitivity must be good enough. For example, we have some dry skin. We cannot feel anything, right? That's when there must be body sensitivities. There must be tangible object. Then there must be body consciousness. As in the arising of these three is called body contact. Now we have the last one, mind contact. There must be mind door sensitivity, and we can sense something in the mind door. There must be some object that can be known. Then there will be, we can say Manoviññāna. Then there will be mind contact. So these are called 6 types of phassa. Then we have some simile here. That means without contact, we cannot feel anything. We cannot know anything. There's a one statement mentioned in the original sutta. You may have seen fire stick. We may have 2 sticks, right? Then it becomes very hot, it will produce the fire. So we have to wrap together very long time. The heat will generate the fire. Then, if there's a 2 stick, keep them separately. As long as they cannot rough each other, they cannot touch each other, it cannot produce any fire. Similarly, if there's a pleasant contact, there must be pleasant feeling. If there's an unpleasant contact, there must be unpleasant feeling. Of course, we also have equanimous feeling, equanimity. Sometimes neither pleasant nor unpleasant, just a neutral mind. At the time, there will be neutral contact and neutral feeling. Based on contact, we feel good and bad. We also feel equanimity, we also feel neutral. That is the nature of phassa. They will also give instruction to Venerable Bhikkhusati about these types of phassa. These are also the foundations of vipassana. Then we also have to continue the next one. Here, Manapa Vichara. So there we can also select a thinking or investigation or analyzing. Okay, here we have a few things about it based on sensual objects. So we have see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and feel, or think something. We have six sense objects. Based on that, there will be somanasa, pleasure. So every day when seeing, desirable, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, desirable, there will be pleasant feeling, somanasa, pleasure. Or we also think, oh, that is a very pleasure. That's really very good. Manapa Vichara, we think about it. Then similarly, we have another one, domanasa, displeasure. If we have seen or smell, taste, touch, or think or feel undesirable, something bad, there will be domanasa, displeasure. So based on experiences, or based on experiencing undesirable objects or undesirable things, we may have dominance displeasure. We also know, or we also have investigation or analyzing, or that is unpleasant. That is not good things. When we have this kind of understanding or this kind of analyzing or thinking, that's called manapa vichara. Then we have the last type of feeling, upekkha, equanimity. Equanimous feeling. That means neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Neither pleasure nor displeasure. This is called upekkha. Mostly in our daily life, we have a lot of upekkha. Right? Mostly, we cannot like everything we see also. We have more neutral feeling every day. Almost all the time, we have equanimous feeling. So that means neither unpleasant nor pleasant. This is normal for our life. Only sometimes we may see very desirable objects. Sometimes we may see undesirable objects. This is also normal. So when we have equanimous feeling, our mind is free from like and dislike. We also know, we also analyze, investigate. We also think that is an equanimity, neutral feeling. This is also called manapa vichara. Okay, now here, one more thing here. When we talk about somanasa, domanasa, upekkha, this is also feeling. In our practice, when we are going to start Nama meditation, we have three entries. It can be phassa, contact. It can be feeling, vedana. It also can be consciousness, vijnana. We can start Nama meditation with one of these three. Now here, the Buddha is going to explain Nama meditation to Venerable U Kovida based on feeling, starting from feeling. That's why the Buddha emphasizes on feeling, insists based on six base or six contact. So these actually sometimes we also say there are 18 different types of feeling. That means we have sensual objects multiplying by three types of feeling. It can be 18. So the Buddha talk about 18 different types of feeling to Venerable U Kovida for Nama discernment. Okay, now we have to move the next one. Adhitthana. Mostly when we know the Pali word adhitthana, or when we start analyzing the Pali word adhitthana, we can also understand like determination, right? But here adhitthana doesn't mean determination, it just means foundation. We may have many different types of foundation. So here we mention 4 foundation. Okay, this is a little bit different. Different means mostly we understand 4 foundations of mindfulness, right? But here it's not 4 foundations of mindfulness. We just understand only 4 foundations. The first one, Panyaditthana, the foundations of wisdom. So there are many different types of wisdom. There are also foundations of wisdom. Again, we also have Satchaditthana, the foundations of truth. There are many different types of truth. It can be conventional truth and ultimate truth. But here in the case of Satchaditthana, it must be ultimate truth, Paramattha Dhamma. Then we have Jagaditthana, the foundations of generosity. Sometimes we also understand foundations of giving up. Jaga also means giving up. So yeah, in the case of Jagaditthana, if we say the foundations of giving up, it will be much better. We must give up many of defilements. There are many things we have to give up. These are called Jagaditthana. Finally, Upasamaditthana, the foundations of peace. Of course, peacefulness is also very important in our life. If we don't have peacefulness, we cannot calm down our mind. We cannot subside defilement. So now here we have to learn what to do with these 4. The Lord has already mentioned 4 foundation, right? What to do with these 4? The first one, Panya, Nabamateya, do not neglect wisdom. Why we must not neglect wisdom? Actually, without wisdom, we cannot attain any higher attainment. Right? For example, we also need wisdom to attain jhana, concentration. We also need wisdom to attain psychic power. We also need wisdom to practice vipassana, insight knowledge. Of course, we also need wisdom to realize nibbana, to attain path and fruition knowledge, and the arhatship. So from the very beginning, we must not neglect wisdom. For example, when we do sila also, we must be wise. When we do samadhi also, we must be wise. When we do panya also, we must be wise. Without wisdom, we cannot improve. That's why do not neglect wisdom. This is also the first part. So Panyaditthana, we must not neglect this one. These foundations of Panya, we must not neglect. So yeah, in the sense of foundations of wisdom, we already mentioned Samadhi and Panya. Samadhi, concentration also one of the foundation. Vipassana also one of the foundation, until we can attain path and fruition knowledge. Then we have another part. Satyam Anurakya, guard the truth. That means we must protect the truth. So, okay, here we may have many different types of truth. In this case, we should understand truthfulness in speech. This also can be considered as a Satya Anurakya. You must tell the truth. This is called Satya. So actually telling the truth also one of the morality. Also, this kind of thing also can lead to realize the ultimate truth. Under the name of ultimate truth, there are many. That means telling the truth is just beginning. Vajjusatya, right? Vajjusatya means truthfulness in speech. That's just the beginning of truth. The first step of truth. After that, we must continue to practice until we could realize the ultimate truth. Okay, for beginner, I should elaborate a few more things about ultimate truth and conventional truth. Okay, for example, we have many object using every day. We have many conversation about daily life. Mostly we just use conventional truth. For example, telephone. That's a conventional truth, right? Actually, if we analyze telephone, there are many parts, many parts combined together to become a telephone. Different parts have different name also. For example, we may have the cover. This is not telephone, right? Also, we have button. We have slots. There are many other like circuits or many things inside the telephone. Then there are many other electrical things inside the telephone. They have different name. After combining everything, we call telephone. Okay, for your easier understanding, a house. Whenever we say a house, there's also combinations of many material. Roof, it can be different material of roof. Similarly, wall, it can be different material. The floor can be different material. Then there can be the door, right? There can be ceiling, curtain, many things combined together we call house. Similarly, we have human being. We have different name of body parts. For example, head. In the head also there's head hair, body hair, right? Forehead, eyebrow, eyelash, many. Combining everything we call the head. According to ultimate reality, it will be only the klapas, particles. At least it will be made of 4 elements and color, smell, taste, and nutriment. Altogether 8 materialities in every single particles. Okay, when we say ultimate reality, it's always truth. For example, greed. When greed arises in human being, we want to get something. Similarly, when greed arises in divine being also, they want to get something. When greed arises in animal also, they want to get something. It will never change the nature. That's why it's also called ultimate reality. So Satyanurakaya, we must protect or we must guard Bhava truth, truthfulness in speech as a basics, as a foundation. And based on that, we must also practice until we can realize ultimate truth, until we attain Nibbana. Nibbana is also ultimate truth. This is called Satyanurakaya. Then we have the next part, Jagam Anuguheya, cultivate generosity. Okay, here when we talk about generosity, we can also say Jaga as a giving up or abandoning or letting go. So there will be many different types of development or improvement. Every improvement, we give up something naturally. So as a foundation, we must develop the abandoning of defilement as the foundation. So at the least, if we cannot eradicate totally, we must be able to subside the defilement. For example, greed. When it becomes very strong, we will be under control of greed. Then we may make many mistakes. Then it will be very serious for our future. We will suffer in the future. Similarly, hatred. When we have anger every day, this is not really a big problem. When hatred becomes very strong, we will become blind totally. We will hate easily. When we have blind hatred, then we will be under control of hatred. We may hold grudge against somebody. It will be very harmful for our future. So if we can subside anger by practicing something or by developing some level of concentration, this also giving up defilements. Of course, we have to give away all the wrong thoughts, wrong actions, wrong speech. So another name of abandoning or jaga, until we can take part in fruition knowledge, until we can take leadership, that we must abandon the defilements. Of course, if we can take leadership, we can eradicate all types of defilements without any remainder. It will be the best for our future. That means since we have already eradicated all the defilements, no more rebirths. That's more meaningful in our life. Okay, now we have to move the next part. Sitting, eva, sikheya. Train only for peace. Okay, that means we have to train ourselves to have peacefulness. Actually, all these have relationship. When we have defilements, we're gonna feel peaceful. So when we have very strong defilements, then we don't have peaceful totally. Then when we have a little bit weaker defilements, then we may have a little bit weak peacefulness, right? We may have peacefulness. Then gradually, if we can subside defilements, we can feel more peacefulness. Of course, if we can eradicate the defilements without remainder, this will be peacefulness. So we have to train ourselves for peacefulness. So we have to calm down or subside the defilements by practicing many different methods. This is also train the mind. Sometimes people also say, I cannot control my mind, right? Actually, this is not controlling mind, this is a training mind. If you have to control, you have to pressure yourself too much. You cannot stabilize easily. If you train, of course, in the very beginning, you may encounter a lot of difficulty gradually. When you're used to be with the training mind, you can improve faster. Here's only skill. Okay, these are what you do with four foundation. We have Panya Dithana, the foundations of wisdom, Sajjatithana, the foundations of truth, Jagatina, foundation of generosity or giving away or giving up or abandoning, Upasama the foundations of peace. So we have to do four foundation with these types of learning. Do not neglect wisdom, guard the truth, cultivate giving away or giving up or abandoning, train only for peace. These are also recommended by the Buddha to Venerable Bhikkhusati. Okay, now we have to move the next part, Arubhajana. See, the Buddha also talk about Arubhajana to Venerable Bhikkhusati. Why? You say like that, right? Actually, Venerable Bhikkhusati had already attained the fourth jhana of Anapanasati. Why? The Buddha talk about Arubhajana. Of course, there will be better foundation. That's why the Buddha talk about it. When the Buddha said, the Buddha also mentioned the quality of the fourth jhana. That means in the fourth jhana, there will only equanimity and one point in it. Because of equanimity and one point in it, mind become very stable, very pure, very bright, and workable, illuminate. So every time the Buddha also talk about this kind of things, pure, bright, workable, flexibility, also illuminates. So there will be brightness of mind. Actually, from time to time, because of find similar statements in many other suttas. In Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha also mentioned the mind is originally pure and bright. Because of the visitor defilements, it become impure. That's also Buddha saying. So now when he could attain the fourth jhana, then his mind become very calm and pure and very bright. His mind become walkable. Okay, here I should say walkable means it's ready to practice vipassana. That's the meaning of walkable. So that means it will be useful for vipassana. It can be foundation. But also brace the fourth jhana he had attained. But one more thing here. Since he had been entering that jhana very long time, she had attachment to fourth jhana already. So what are we to cut attachment to fourth jhana? If he said, oh, that fourth jhana is not good enough, he may feel sorry because it takes very long time for him to attain that kind of level. There's attachment to fourth jhana already. That is why Buddha start talking about the quality of fourth jhana. Fourth jhana also pure, bright, workable, flexibility, to start practicing vipassana. But Buddha talk about immaterial jhana. Okay, I have to say a few more things. On the way, when he came to see the Buddha, on the way, whenever he had opportunity, he entered to fourth jhana. Okay, last night I have already talked about how he came to see the Buddha, right? Every single place, whenever he had opportunity, he just entered fourth jhana. So if we delight in fourth jhana very long time, of course, not that easy for him to continue practicing vipassana. That's why Buddha talk about arupa jhana. So the Buddha praised rupa jhana first. After that, continues talking about arupa jhana. Since you have listened many Dhamma talk, you may have known arupa jhana, right? Again, I will list out anyway. The first one, Akasa-Nanjayana jhana, boundless space. So boundless space, that means we have to pay attention to the space after removing kasina. For example, when we are going to practice immaterial jhana, we must have attained kasina jhana, kasina fourth jhana. Okay, now, for example, Pathavi kasina, earth kasina. After entering into Akasina fourth jhana, then reflecting the disadvantages of materiality, also weakness of jhana. After that, we have to discern space element, space in Adhikasina. After expanding space in Adhikasina, finally we can remove Adhikasina totally. There will be only space. Then space remain as object. Then if we can pay attention to boundless space, we can enter into the first jhana. Here we call boundless space jhana, Akasa-Nanjayana jhana. Then we have another one, Vijnana-Jayana, boundless consciousness. This also take the first jhana as an object. This ultimate reality as an object. So very rare. Okay, now we have to move the next one. Aganya-Jnana, nothingness jhana. Okay, sometimes people also misunderstand Aganya-Jnana jhana. Nothingness, right? So when we say nothingness, it doesn't mean we don't know anything. Sometimes people also misunderstand when their mind become very blurred, they cannot know any particular object. They thought they have attained nothingness jhana. In reality, nothingness means the absence of first immaterial jhana. That means the absence of boundless space jhana. If you can take the absence of the first immaterial jhana, boundless space jhana, we can say nothingness jhana. It doesn't mean we don't have any object. We have to know the absence of something, right? Okay, now finally we have to understand Nivasanyana, neither perception nor non-perception. So here in this case, the perception became very subtle. Not only perception, all other mentality became very subtle. That's why it's called neither perception nor non-perception. It will take the calmness or nothingness jhana as object. So these are called immaterial jhana. So these immaterial jhana also can be the foundations of vipassana. Then there will be samatha yanika, there will be vipassana yanika. In the case of Venerable Pukusati, the word also talk about samatha yanika. After samatha yanika, then the word also talk about rupa meditation. 4 elements I have already mentioned before. After rupa, then Buddha also instructed him to continue practicing nama meditation. Okay, we have to analyze, we have to summarize the process of his practice. First, jhana. After that, go to rupa, then go to nama, after that, nama rupa together. These are the foundations of his practice. So this is also one of the foundations of his practice. Then, okay, we have to go to the last part today. This is a final, okay, final talk. The Buddha talked to him finally about abandoning defilements. So when we say abandoning defilements, there are many, many different instructions. Right? For example, when we have defilements, we cannot calm down our minds. So the Buddha also lists out different types of defilements: seeing different things, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, or feeling. There will be many different types of defilements. Okay, for your information, I should summarize the list of defilements. As you have already known, lobha, greed, or lust, or attachment, or craving, this is also defilement. We also have dosa, hatred, anger, worry, anxiety, grief, lamentation, sorrow, fear. All these are also called dosa. Then we have moha, delusion. Delusion means not knowing the truth. That means full of the truth. When we have very strong delusion, we cannot know the past existences, future existences, and both past and present, past and future. We cannot know the dependent origination, cause and effect relationship. This is also called moha, delusions or illusion. Then we also have mana, pride. Of course, when we have quality, when we have good conditions, we may be proud of our quality. We may be proud of our abilities. So all of mana, proud, or pride, or conceit, or arrogance, or stubbornness come from comparison. Compared to other people, if we think we are better, we may be arrogant. Of course, if we are the same also, right? Oh, we are the same, we may be arrogant. Although we are inferior, we may have that kind of we have that mindset, right? I don't care anybody. So that means when we have a comparison, that there will be mana. I'm better. We are the same. I'm inferior. Whatever mindset we have, one of these three, this is called mana. Most people thought mana means if we think we are better or stronger or smarter, we have mana, right? Actually, mana can be three: inferior, equal, and superior. So we have three types of mana. Then wrong view, this is also mana. Of course, when we can attain Sattapatti Magga, we don't have identity view, we don't have wrong view. We can eradicate. Actually, there are many different types of wrong views, especially about everlasting entity. For example, in this body, there's an everlasting entity that can create something created by somebody, or that can manage something, that can feed something. When we have this kind of understanding, this is called wrong view, deity. We just say atta deity, right? Because of the identity view. Then, Vicikicca, doubt. We may have a lot of doubt. Of course, when we can attain Sotapaddi Magga, we can overcome doubt. Okay, one more thing here. Whenever we talk about doubt, people also misunderstand. Okay, for example, I may have a doubt about morning or evening. Okay, today I have doubt about today is it Saturday or Sunday or Thursday or Friday. I may have that kind of doubt, right? This is not really called Vicikicca. This is the normal. When we say Vicikicca, doubt or skepticism, then that means doubt about the Buddha's qualities, Dhamma qualities, Sangha's qualities, doubt about past lives, future lives, doubt about trainings, 3 trainings. All these are called defilements, Vicikicca. Vicikicca means doubt or skepticism. Then we also have like a Tina meter, thought and torpor, right? Our mind and body become a little bit tired, not very active, sluggish. This is called Tina meter. This is also defilement. So restlessness also defilement. That means when we're not going to control our mind, we may have restlessness. This is also defilement. Then we may have ahirika anuttappa, moral shamelessness and moral fearlessness. These are also called defilements. So in the process, the Lord had already talked about many different things. We have to follow his instructions, practice in different methods. We must be able to abandon the defilements. Okay, here I should introduce a few things about abandoning. Actually, in our previous topic, we have already mentioned Parikama, preliminary or preparatory, right? The preliminary practice. Actually, they are also, in the very beginning, we must try to subside the defilements by using many different methods. For example, before we are going to meditate, we may have a lot of restlessness. To calm down our mind, we can do like a Buddha Nusati, or we can also do chanting something. When we can calm down our mind, okay, we can start focus on the main subject, Anapana or Kasina or other subjects. So that means even in the preliminary states, we need to calm down, we have to subside defilements. So you may have already known full project meditation. For example, when we have too much greed, too much attachment or lust or love, we can do Asubha meditation, reversiveness meditation. Like for example, 32 body parts. If we feel reversives after reviewing or seeing 32 body parts, we can subside attachments to the body, to the living thing also. Similarly, when we have a lot of hatred, a lot of anger, we can also do metta meditation, karuna meditation, mudita meditation, ubhaka meditation. Especially metta is the opposite to hatred or anger or worry or anxiety. So we can do metta meditation to subside dosa. Then again, when we have a lot of plan and projects, we have planned to do this and that and many things, right? We can also reflect, then we can also recollect death. If we come to know we are going to die today or tomorrow, we can forget all our plans and projects. That is why we also need project and meditation. So sometimes we don't have faith, we lost our confidence. We can also do Buddha-nusati. So these are the preliminary states before we start practicing. So that in every single stage, when we have defilements, our quality will decline. For example, concentration. when you have very strong defilements, you will lose your concentration. I haven't known some meditator. They have very strong defilements. They lost their nimitta. Although they have practiced vipassana before, after a long time, after very strong, after experiencing very long hatred, they lost everything. Okay, for your knowledge, you may have already known Venerable Devadatta. He could attain psychic power after having a very, very strong greed to lead the Sangha. He lost everything. No more jhana, no more psychic power. So the main thing is that when we have defilements, we can decline, all our ability will decline naturally. That's why this is also important. The Buddha recommends him to reduce hatred. Sorry, to subside or to eradicate defilements. Of course, when we have very strong defilements, there will be stronger possibility, more possibility, right, to lose our concentration. When we have weaker defilements, okay, we have less possibility to lose concentration. So that's why the Buddha recommended him to subside or to calm down the mind, to abandon all the defilements. This is the first part. And now here, the last part, no more rebirth. That means if we can practice very well, we have already mentioned before, right? Not neglecting wisdom, guarding the truth, cultivating, abandoning or giving up defilements, also train for peace. When we have done these four, no more rebirth. Okay, no more rebirth. Okay, one more thing. If no more rebirths, there's a no more aging also. Right? Because rebirth, we have to be old. We have to be sick. We have to die. If no more rebirths, no more aging, no more sickness, no more death. Not only that, in our daily life, we have to worry about this and that and many things. Worry, anxiety. We also have fear of this, fear of that. Then, not only that, we also have lamentation, despair from time to time. When we lost something very seriously, of course, we may have despair. So since we don't have any more rebirths, then no more lamentation, no more despair, no more fear, no more worry. This is the end of the practice. So if somebody has already practiced all the three trainings, then they have already eradicated all types of defilements. They have already known Fundamental Truth clearly with their own knowledge, direct knowledge. Then they don't have any extra practice to improve themselves anymore. Okay, here in his case, Venerable Kovida case, he had practiced anti-Nivasanyana jhana. Also, he could attain Sadapati Magga, Sakaragami Magga, Anagami Magga, up to Anagami path and fruition knowledge. Since he does not have the bow and robe, right, allowed by the Buddha, he just wears his own robe. But for higher ordination, he must go and find the clothes. Now here, one more thing. There are many bhikkhu, after attaining Sotapanna, for example, in the case of Venerable Anyasikonanya, after attaining Sotapanna, the Buddha say, Ehi bhikkhu come. He became bhikkhu naturally, with the bow and robe naturally. Here, in his case, Venerable Kovida, why not? This is also a big question. Then you have known some conditions of a bhikkhu, right? Now many people, they would offer robe and bow and atabrikara, right? 8 requisites of the Buddha, 8 requisites of the bhikkhu. Because when they see the Buddha, they may be able to attain path and fruition knowledge easily, and they can be a bhikkhu, right? For this kind of purpose, they would offer robe. Okay, here in this case, Venerable Pukusati, he would to ordain under the Buddha again. Buddha didn't say a bhikkhu. Then there will be some people, right? Some scholar, they say he does not have offered any robe and bow in the past. That's why he cannot be a bhikkhu. This is one thing. Then there's also another scholar. They say a bhikkhu can be only for Pachima Bhavika. Pachima Bhavika means final existence. Final existence means, for example, in the case of Venerable Anyasikananya, he will attain the ship at the very moment. Right? That means after 7 days. That's why he can be a bhikkhu. Okay, similarly, Venerable Ananda, right? They also ordained. Mostly in the very, very early time, Buddha just say a bhikkhu because all of them are also arhat. In the case of Venerable Ananda, he remains Sotapanna whole life until Buddha entered Nirvana. After that, when they are going to hold the first council, he attained arhatship the night before the first council. So he will attain arhatship naturally. That's why he became a bhikkhu very easily. But in the case of Venerable Ananda, we cannot find any source of a bhikkhu. But anyway, if he is a bhikkhu, also it's possible, right? Mostly the first part of Buddha's life, almost all of them are a bhikkhu. But in the case of Venerable Ananda's group, they are just ordinary ordination, normal ordination. Okay, if we say briefly, a bhikkhu is only for Pachima Bhavika, the last existence. Then this the final, their life, the last existence, I mean the last life, they will attain arhatship directly. After that, they will enter Nirvana. For that kind of disciples, the Buddha will say a bhikkhu. But in the case of Venerable Pukusati, it's a not Pachima Bhavika. That's why Buddha cannot say him a bhikkhu. That's why he had to find robe and bow by himself. You may have known his story. When he was finding for clothes and bow, he was attacked by a mad cow. That he passed away. So since he had attained jhana, okay, one more thing. In the very beginning of today's talk, I have already mentioned, he has very strong attachment to the 4th jhana, right? Now he also attained anagami, that he was born in Sudavasa realms, pure abode. This is his life. So this also, after 20 Vassa, the Buddha met Bhugusati, King Bhugusati. Also, we can also say Venerable Bhugusati. But he was ordained by himself, right? And later, Buddha also went to ordain him, but unfortunately, he does not have that kind of opportunity. Right? Anyway, he could attain anagami path and fruition knowledge. This is also a special case. Without seeing the Buddha, he could attain jhana. He could know vipassana by himself as the basics. When seeing the Buddha, of course, he has more time to learn from the Buddha. In the very beginning, he didn't know the one who met is the Buddha, but later, after listening to Scott Anti, no more rebirths or abandoned defilements, he realized this is the Buddha. But in the very beginning, he also treated Buddha very friendly. He asked for forgiveness. Oh, not knowing as a Buddha, I have that kind of treatment. I have treated you like this. Please forgive me. They also that kind of that's kind of forgiveness, asking for forgiveness. After the Buddha asked him to look for robe and bow, he passed away. He was born in Suravasa realms. Okay, today we should stop Dhamma talk here. I think today Dhamma talk will be a little bit heavy for you. But anyway, it's pretty difficult for me to summarize all the sutta to make it simple. So there are many information when you go in and read Thadavibanga Sutta and Majjhima Nikaya, you can also learn more in detail. Okay, I will stop here. May you all be able to practice Buddha teaching. May you all be able to realize final cessation and not suffering.
Thank you so much, Bante. Bante, we have some questions over the chats. The first one. Okay, about Panya Nipamajaya. How can we not neglect wisdom in our daily life if we don't even have a samadhi or even cannot focus on the breath for 20 minutes continuously?
Okay. Actually, in this case, as long as we can know right and wrong, good and bad, beneficial and unbeneficial in our daily life, this also, we can say Panyana Pamajaya, right? Not negligent wisdom. For example, we are going to do something, right? We have to check is it beneficial or not, useful or not, right or wrong, good or bad. That's good enough for daily life. Okay.
Another one, my understanding from Sayadaw's talk is that based on six sensual objects, we will feel Somanasa, Vedana, I think it's Domanasa Vedana or Upeka Vedana. Some meditation teaches to focus on the feeling, different sensation on the body, but actually you have 7 or 9 kinds of Vedana. Can Sayadaw please explain why a meditation technique which emphasizes bodily sensation alone cannot lead to samadhi or nibbana?
Actually, when we talk about Vedana Nupassana, Vedana alone cannot arise, right? Of course, we have to emphasize on Vedana. We also have to know all other types of mentalities that rise together with feeling. This is called Vedana Nupassana. So when we talk about feeling or sensation in the body, this is actually in Bali we call potapa, tangible objects, right? That's why we can feel pain or comfortable or discomfort. Everything can be considered as a tangible object. So in this case, we cannot say samatha or vipassana. Of course, it doesn't mean it's useless, right? Because when you can do that kind of practice, also you can subside defilements for sometimes. This is also useful. But for improvement, you need systematic practice. Okay.
Bante, another question. Vandami Sayadaw, wherever defilements arise, the mind suffers greatly, yet it does not want to abandon those defilements. What should I do when defilements arise?
Okay. So that means if the same defilement arises many times in the same day or in many days, they're not really very good, right? For example, you have the same wrong thoughts, the same wholesome thoughts every day. It becomes possessive, right? Not that easy to change. Not easy to change your thoughts. It will be the problem. As long as you just have only short thoughts, maybe a few wholesome thoughts, with different wholesome thoughts or random wholesome thoughts, this is the normal. Of course, when we can attain body and knowledge, we will subside all the defilements. No more wrong thoughts, right? No more defilements. For ordinary people, as long as you don't have the same wholesome thoughts every day, or the same wholesome mind every day, is good enough. Okay.
Bante, another question. What can Sayadaw advise to ordain people who have very, very weak Kanti Parami in terms of daily training that can help to develop more Kanti?
Okay. Kanti Parami can divide into 2 different parts. What kind of kanti? For example, like your own body. Now, for example, very hot. You are impatient with heat or cold, thirsty, hungry, right? It's come from your body also. Then, if you have this kind of impatience, you cannot improve. You must be patient with your body. This is very important, right? For our external one. So sometimes we have condition to change. For example, heat and cold. Now, whether is it cold, whether is it heat, right? We can change by condition. Heater, right? We can change. That kind of thing will be some another conditions. Okay, briefly, if you are impatient, that means you cannot be in the big community. If you are in the very big community, you must be patient. If you're impatient, you cannot improve. This is the one thing. Another thing is, you remember Venerable Devadatta, right? He also talked about the forest resident bhikkhus. Forest resident bhikkhu means bhikkhu must live in the forest. That means Buddha must lay down the rules. Buddha should lay down the rules for all the bhikkhus. They must live in the forest, not living in village monastery or city monastery or that kind of thing, right? Buddha didn't accept. Why? There are some people, they are physically very strong. Mentally also they are very strong. Whether they live in the city or in the forest, they can practice. Mentally, they have very strong kanti. Bodily, they have very strong conditions. They can digest everything easily. They are healthy enough. That's why they can meditate anywhere. This is a special people. There are some people, they have very strong body conditions. Their bodies are strong enough, but they are mentally not very strong. That means they're impatient. In this case, he must live in the forest monastery. Living alone will be much better for him. Right? This is the one thing. Okay, there are some people, physically, they are very weak. Mentally, they are very strong. That means they have very strong kanti. They can live in the city or in the village. When they have sickness, there must be somebody who can support me, who can support, right? This is also important. Of course, if you don't have bodily also not very strong, mentally also not very strong, don't expect to improve. That's why for all person, you must train yourself to be very strong mentally and bodily. Of course, if you don't have very strong body, ideally you must try to have very strong mind, very strong kanti. It's important, right?
Bhante, from the same person, she asked, when defilement subside for a short while, how can I prolong that period?
Actually, in this case, if you have long time training is possible. Okay, it depends on what kind of defilement also. Okay, I should say one example. You get angry. You want to subside your anger. There are many ways to subside. Okay, first try to do physical exercise to subside your defilement. When your body becomes very tired, you don't get angry anymore. This is the one way, right? Because sometimes you don't want to do exercise, you just do some chanting loudly. You chant verbally when you get angry, right? Recite something, chant something. Then, because you have to use too much mind power for chanting, then you can subside defilement. This is also another way, right? Okay, if we say very difficult way, this is meditation. You can do metta meditation, karuna meditation. This is also possible, right? Anyway, so it depends on what kind of defilement you have. There are many different ways of prolonging the period of abandoning defilements, right? Okay, dosa, do exercise very long time. You can subside longer. Lobha, it depends on what kind of lobha you have. For example, foods. If you like foods, try to reflect reversiveness of the foods. You can subside defilement. So when you are chewing, try to think about what will happen in your mouth. Okay. When you study reversing the foods, it will mention, right? After chewing, you can spit out and then see in your palms how is it the food you eat, right? You want to vomit maybe. So this is to subside attachment to the food, just example. But there are many different ways of overcoming, many different types of defilements. That's why I cannot say exactly what to do. It depends on the defilement you have, or the object you have. There can be different way of solution, okay?
It's about anapanasati. If I count both from 1 to 8, but also counting the numbers of round from 1 to 8, would it hinder my practice in any way?
Okay. Actually, the number is not very important. As long as you can know breathing is good enough, right? Okay, one more thing. Don't make that kind of habit also. When you have good conditions or focus on the breathing, don't count. Without counting, if you can know the breath is much better. It should be natural. So not only that, noting habit also, right? Some of you may have a habit of noting in breath, or in, out, like this, noting. If you don't have that kind of habit, it's much better. So when needed, you can count, you can note. That means when you have a lot of thoughts, you can do counting or noting. If you can know without counting or noting, it's much better. Try yourself, right? You cannot say number is a count, repeating number is not mistake. Okay?
But I think this question is about Mahasatipatthana Sutta in Dhamma Nupassana. Vega Satya chapter, when Buddha explains what is right livelihood, Buddha just says simple avoiding from wrong livelihood. One practices right livelihood. What is the reason that Buddha does not explain in details about Sama Ajiva, like he explains in the other 7 factors of Four Noble Paths?
Okay, here in this case, you have to check who is the listeners, right? The listeners are Kammaṭṭhānācariya people. They are very wise. Everybody in their region are practicing 4 foundations of mindfulness, Satipatthana. Everybody is practicing diligently. That's why for them, they don't need to, no need to say that kind of thing to them. They have already known. That's why Buddha didn't elaborate that much. Okay?
How can I arouse inner spiritual strength?
Okay, big question, right? Interest. Sometimes, like, although we are practicing, we are not very interested in practice. We cannot improve. This is one thing, right? So if we say easier way, trying to reflect the benefit of practice. So trying to reflect the benefit of meditation. For example, anapanasati. If you reflect the benefit of anapanasati, then you may have more interest in anapanasati. You can practice better. Right? Your mind will be stronger naturally. So that means interest is important for everybody. You try to reflect the benefit of every single practice you are going to do. It will be easier for you to have more spiritual power. Okay? Etawadaja amehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sampati siddhya idame nyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idame nyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idame punya asawakaya waham hotu idame punya nibbanasa pateyo hotu mama punya bhagam sabba sadanam pajemi te sabbe me sama punya bhagam labandu sadhu sadhu sadhu.